Hello, everyone. Dana here from Mind Body Healthy Holistic Nutrition. I am a certified holistic nutrition consultant who specializes in helping busy, exhausted women overcome chronic fatigue syndrome, long term fatigue, post viral fatigue, and Epstein Barr virus exhaustion and active infection. I also help women rebalance their hormones and reverse burnout as well, as that is a very tightly integrated portion of the whole chronic fatigue phenomenon. So today I am going to go through a case study for you, some of the work I've done with one of my clients. So we're talking supplements today, and if you've followed me for a while or you know anything about me, supplements are not my favorite topic to talk about. I don't necessarily have anything against supplements as a whole. However, I do have some issues with how people are told to take supplements. So, supplements are not a bad thing. We do need certain supplements at certain times in our lives, and there are a few that we can take long term safely. There are also a number that we cannot take long term safely, and nobody tells us this. I also am not a fan of taking more supplements, like the more the better is the wrong approach. It drives me crazy to hear all the women who have basically got their own mini little health food store set up in their pantry of all the different supplements. Um, I'm also I also do not like to promote supplements first and foremost because they're not a quick fix. So many people think that I can just pop into a drugstore or a health food store and grab a bottle of supplements because Dr. Google said it was okay and take them and things will be better within a few days. That's not how it works. Most supplements need to be taken for at least 3 months before they will do any changes that are obvious to you in your body. There are also so many poor quality, terrible supplements out there, and they're usually the cheapest ones. They're usually the ones that are promoted through like fitness and those types of or those MLM programs. So be very, very cautious where you're buying yours from. As I mentioned, when you take more supplements, take a whole bunch, powders, potions, tinctures, pills, everything. It's not the answer. It is actually a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disastrous hormones, disastrous liver health, and disastrous energy levels. So don't fall into the trap of more is better. Now, I do, of course, have there's a right way and a right time to take certain supplements. I personally, I have been that I totally, I am that person who had about 20 some on the go at one point. Because every time I'd read a little bit more about one, I'd be like, oh, that sounds cool. Let me take that. But it got to the point where I was taking so many that I had no idea if any of them were working. And if I felt better, I didn't have a clue which one was doing anything. I also had a number of personal experiences with taking too many supplements, wrong dosages, poor quality, and creating further problems like boosting my estrogen levels sky high and gaining a bunch of weight. I gave myself a copper deficiency, which exhausted me. So many different things that have happened. I've given myself digestive issues and nausea with like the high potency probiotics. So more is not always better. Right now I take 6 regularly. That is what I'm down to. These are just the ones that I need to maintain certain hormonal balances in my body to help boost my energy. I take some specific antioxidants, and these are what makes me feel good. The rest of my nutrients I'm getting from food. And if I ever do feel like I'm a little off, I do take a look at what's going on and look at my symptoms and determine whether or not I need to take another supplement for a couple of weeks or a month, or if I just need to adjust my diet. For me, it's usually my diet at this point. Because I've gotten to a point where I don't necessarily need the supplements as a reliance factor like I used to. That is, I've turned my health around to the point where the food I'm eating is very on par with what I'm what my body needs to maintain high energy and balanced hormones, and my digestion and my health is at a point where it just gets what it needs. My body absorbs what it needs. So that is kind of my goal with most people. Supplements, in my expertise and my experience, they're not something you don't necessarily need to take them long term. Some of them, yes, and I'll talk about those in a minute, but most of them, no. So we always want to make sure when we're taking supplements that we're actually taking, of course, very high quality ones, as well as the ones that are right for you right now. You're where you are in your current health status, like what's going on today. What nutrients do you actually need today because you're feeling so exhausted? You maybe have swollen lymph nodes, you maybe have a brain fog, you may have PMS, all these different symptoms. Don't ever brush off any of your symptoms, because the more symptoms we can look at, the better the story and the better zeroed in, laser sharp focus of nutritional and natural health strategies we can give you to help you rebalance your body, boost your energy, and feel more confident and at home in your own skin. So we need to make sure that we're looking at all the symptoms we can, making sure that we're choosing supplements that match where you are today and will help you achieve your goal down the road. So we're not going to achieve the goal today. That's just not how the body works. It's not that fast. Most repair and healing takes 3, 4, 5, 6 months. For some women, it can take longer, and the factor behind why certain protocols can take longer for some people is usually, in my experience with working with so many women, compliancy with the protocol and the stress and how they're dealing with that. That's a whole other topic. So back to supplements. When I first started working with a client, and she's got really undernourished and weakened stress response, I don't start her with an adrenal adaptogen. I know a lot of women out there taking adaptogens because they read something or believe that stress is a factor. Not wrongly, by the way. Stress is underlying everything. But I don't start my clients off with an adaptogen because it's a waste of money for them at that point. It doesn't do anything. They don't feel any different. They get frustrated. That adds to their stress. It's just not a good nutrient to add to their bodies right now. So what we want to do is we want to start with something that aligns with her nutritional status today, where we start from. So today I want to walk you through a case study, which is what I do with my clients to help them get their nutrient gaps refueled in a healthy way, a sustainable way that supports their end goals and gets them there faster than one-off solutions or, getting confused by all the stuff that you read online. This helps make sure, the way I work with my clients, making sure that they're taking supplements and adjusting their diets and lifestyle in a way that makes sure we aren't overtaxing the liver, adding more stress to their lives, giving them the wrong supplements that could create more toxicity or digestive issues, and of course, not wasting their money on expensive stuff that they don't need or that won't work. So are you ready? So this is for the woman who is battling unexplained fatigue. This is kind of something I've been thinking about playing with a little, this unexplained fatigue concept. So there's a lot of women out there who believe they know what's wrong or they've been diagnosed with something, and they use that as, okay, I'm going to zero in I've got this diagnosis of, let's say, Epstein-Barr virus. It's a good example. I've got this diagnosis of Epstein-Barr. I'm told it's reactivated. I am going to zero in all my research on looking for all the stuff that addresses Epstein-Barr virus, which is great. But what I'm seeing is that people are neglecting the other areas of the body. And in this case, stress is huge. It gets neglected in almost every person's, anybody that's doing this on their own, like reading the books and Googling and going to Facebook forums and stuff, anybody doing this on their own and wondering why things aren't working because they're ignoring something, usually stress. So when I'm talking about unexplained fatigue, I'm talking about someone that has been either diagnosed with something Epstein-Barr, sleep apnea, your estrogen is out of whack, whatever. But still, no matter what they try, whether it's medical treatments, alternative treatments, supplements, a new diet, no matter what they try, it just isn't going away. So this includes chronic fatigue syndrome, which is what I lived with for almost 20 years. 20 plus years, I lived with unexplained fatigue that nothing, or if I did find a relief, it was very minor and for a very short period of time. Chronic fatigue syndrome, unexplained, debilitating, frustrating fatigue that nothing was fixing. Active Epstein-Barr virus infection. Yes, there's definitely a protocol that you can do to help with that. But if that's not working, look at everything else. And this is where it's so important. Same with adrenal fatigue and burnout. If what you're doing, there's very clear ideas on how to reverse adrenal fatigue and burnout, but so many women get stuck because they're not actually doing all the things. So unexplained fatigue, that's what we're talking about today. Specifically with nutrition and supplements. Today, there's more to the protocol than that because I do a holistic approach with my clients, but we're going to dive into this case study today, and it's just nutrition and supplements. So this is what I do with a typical client when we're trying to reverse her chronic fatigue and help her start to live the best life within 4 to 6 months. And we're going to talk, like I said, supplements mainly today. If you want to learn more, there's a link underneath in the description to learn more about the protocol and what working with me looks like. But let's go through Jen's journey within the energy and hormonal rebalance system, which is my transformative energy recovery program for women battling unexplained fatigue and who want to get back their energy, love of life, and connections with the people around them and other things that matter to them. So when Jen came to see me, she was taking 15 different supplements, many of which were from those like fitness store brands like GNC or Isogenics. The only one that was aligned with her goals was her fish oil, and that was a really poor quality, extremely low dose version that wasn't serving her at all, but cost her like $40 a month. Jen was trying to eat healthy as well, which is great, and had been on a bit of a keto kick for a couple of months, which isn't so great. She wasn't consistent most of the time, which, I mean, mainly because her cravings for sweets and carbs had gotten out of control because of the keto diet. She also wanted to lose about 10 inches in total from her body. So she wasn't eating more than 1,300 calories a day, which is really where she focused most of her attention. So she had about 4 things going on there that were working against her and her energy goal. She was eating too little food. She was stressing herself out by focusing on calories and the 10 inches. She wasn't consistent with her diet, and she was following keto. Also, the thing secondary, she was dealing with cravings for sweets and carbs that are not healthy. So these 5 things were really working against her because all 5 of these things promote nutritional deficiencies. So Jen was really frustrated because nothing that she was doing or nothing that she'd read or researched was helping. Keto was too hard, as it is for most women who are exhausted, or most women in general. It's too hard for me. So she turned to supplements as a quick fix. Ever done that? Ever felt like that? I totally have. However, no matter what she bought and tried, nothing was helping her feel more energized and ready to face her day in the morning, nor was she able to get through her afternoons without a nap before dinner. Her weight wasn't budging. It kept kind of going up. She felt guilty and ashamed for not keeping up with her kids' activities and their homework after school each day, and for letting all the household chores just slide. Like the dishes were piling up in the sink and the laundry wasn't getting done. She just felt awful. Energy and feeling accomplished and successful in her daily life was really Jen's main goal, but she did want to feel more confident as well by losing the weight. So we made sure that we focused on her energy goal and her secondary weight loss goal and ditching the cravings as we went through the program with her. So here's what we did. Step one is we reduced inflammation in her body, that was keeping her exhausted and bloated by removing any processed and high sugar foods from her diet. She had most of the high sugar ones gone, except for the cravings. But her keto diet was the mean one you find online, so it was full of really pro-inflammatory foods and oils and such. Then we replaced all of these with healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and raw nuts. In doing this, Jen also started to eat more food, which scared her at first. Don't worry, it does. But we bumped her up to about 16 to 1700 calories a day, and I told her to stop counting. This massively helped reduce her cravings, like by so much. Then for supplements, for Jen, we just kind of tossed out everything that she had going on, and we focused on just five to start with. We don't want to overstress the body, overtax the body with too many supplements. So we picked really good quality certified supplement brands from reputable health food stores for her. And she started a daily multivitamin mineral complex, a full B complex, because her body was massively low in major B vitamins. We got her on a good quality essential fatty acid or omega-3. We put her on a probiotic because she had some digestive issues. And then I put her on a zinc to help kill off viruses. Just nice maintenance level dosages across the board. Just something that she could start getting used to and taking consistently. So that's what she did for 1 month. Month number 2, step number 2, I helped her remove and readjust her non-food related habits that were creating inflammation and a poor, weakened stress response. So this is part of the holistic approach. We worked on sleep, self-care, and exercise, and just did some tweaks for her. She began going to bed at the same time every night, getting up at the same time every morning. She started walking for 30 minutes a day, twice a day, and we got her doing 10 minutes of active stress management techniques to tone her vagus nerve and rebalance her nervous system. Her diet remained roughly the same, and we introduced vitamin D drops and high-potency vitamin C to help further kill off any viruses, stealth infections that were potentially a problem for her. She had a whole bunch of the classic symptoms of an Epstein-Barr virus load in her body, but being as it's not the only viral load that can kick around and give people like post-viral fatigue or long haul symptoms, we just really wanted to get in there and kill off any potential stealth viruses that could be causing inflammation. Wanted to boost thyroid because she was dealing with low energy and weight gain, but also this to really help boost viral load kill. She started taking selenium. And then this is where we added an adrenal adaptogen for her. She was at a point where her body was doing better. Getting rid of the cravings was a huge sign that her adrenals were starting to rebalance. So we added an adrenal adaptogen for her to help with focus and energy throughout the day. Then by about week 12, we moved on to step 3. Because this is when Jen had lost her cravings for sweets and was eating just 3 main meals a day, no snacks whatsoever. This is a huge turning point for my clients because this means she was fat adapted. Her mitochondria had were switched back on, and we're now using fat as fuel, which makes like 31 times more energy than by burning glucose. So this is where we could start the fun work with her. So here is where we really, because those mitochondria were becoming high functioning again, we got her on some really good antioxidants with glutathione and NAC and acetylcysteine. It's usually just called NAC on the bottle. And then to keep her liver healthy, as we were clearing out some old stagnant energy depleting hormones and toxins, ensuring her estrogen levels were healthy, we added in milk thistle. And then by week 18, we moved on to step 4. She had lost 8 inches by then, plus her energy had improved by about 600% from the day she'd started. We do assessments throughout the program just to kind of keep track of this. She was easily able to get through her day with focus and energy at work and still feel great afterwards, getting home to play with her kids, help them with their homework, do the chores. She freed up time because she was doing her tasks so much more quickly that she joined an art class that she'd always dreamed about. So Jen maintained her supplement routine for another 6 months past this, just to really make sure everything was stable. Her diet was stable for her. We were maintaining and progressing her energy improvement continually. And when she kind of felt like she hit where she wanted to be and things were really good, um, and she felt comfortable and like this was a sustainable new lifestyle for her, we removed her NAC, the glutathione adaptogen, selenium, and milk thistle. And then at that point, replaced it with something called Vitex, which is just a really lovely natural herb to help regulate progesterone. Because it's really important. Like I said, all symptoms matter. So it's really important to keep your reproductive hormones balanced too, because when progesterone is too low and estrogen is either too high or too low, energy issues will kick in. So we really want her hormones were looking good. So we want to keep her progesterone levels as healthy as possible. So now Jen is on just the basics for maintenance for energy and longevity and a smooth transition into menopause, which doesn't sound like it relates, but it's going to be so important for her because menopause is a major life stressor. And that is often when women get hit with massive amounts of chronic unexplained fatigue. So she's 43 today, so she still has a ways to go, but that transition will be so much easier and it'll help ensure that sustainable energy production through it all into her later years. So after working with her, Jen now knows which supplements to add back in temporarily should her energy drop or a major stressor throws her off course for a while and into a crash. She knows to take those antioxidants for a couple months. She knows to pick up the selenium for a while. She knows which other antiviral combinations are perfect if she gets a flare up. And if you'd love to be my next success story like Jen, send me a message to see if the energy and hormonal rebalance system is right for you. There's a link in the description, as mentioned, that you can click on to see more about the program, and it takes you to my website so you can contact me from there. All right.